Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup, I love all things skincare, and I especially love finding high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. Yes, we do. You guys already know here on my channel, I love doing hauls, I love doing get ready with me, all of that. But most importantly, I love sharing my tips and tricks for finding really expensive makeup at the best deals. And for today's video, I wanted to come to you guys and show you guys a get ready with me featuring a bunch of new to me products. Now, some of these are quite expensive. Most of these I got at a really amazing deal, so I'll tell you guys about that as well. And I also want to share a little bit of my thoughts on the new Mcgrath Huetopian Dream palette because, you know, we have some feelings. We have a little bit of feelings. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and just keep on watching. Okay, good morning. So as you guys can already tell, my eyes have been prepped and they're ready to go. So full transparency, this is my second time filming this video. So it's not really technically a first impressions, but it's not a review because again, I've only really used these products once so far. So I'm still calling it a first impressions. Anyways, so like you guys saw from the intro, what I wanted to do was test out a bunch of new to me products and let you guys know how I'm feeling about them. Also, because I'm refilming this on the day after Mcgrath launched basically released the color story for Mothership 9 Huetopian Dream. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my thoughts and my sort of initial reactions after seeing the color story. So I don't have a lot of time, so let's just dive in. So for today's video, I'm going to go in with the Natasha Denona Triochrome palette. Like I said, I tried this yesterday. I really enjoyed it. I thought I was going to do the same look today, but I think I want to try out a couple of other shades. That way I get a better feel for the palette. So, and this isn't going to be a super complicated look because I don't have a ton of time. So I'm just going to pop a couple of shades on the lid and then go into the rest of the products on my face. So first thing, I'm going to go into Tungsten, which is this almost like light purple shade here as my crease shade. And since we're talking about eyeshadow, let's talk about Mama Pat's release. I honestly had to sleep on Pat's release for a little bit because I was disappointed. I didn't know how to feel and I didn't want to just put my like initial reaction out there because I was a little disappointed. I expected more, and I think a lot of people expected more from the palette. And the reason why I think everyone expected more is because of all of the teasers that we saw coming up to this. Now, I'm gonna let you all know off the jump, I love Pat Mcgrath as a brand. I really do enjoy her eyeshadow. I think that her formula is one of the best, if not the best out there. I think that she has splendid products. I also really enjoy how she shows us her process. And by that, I mean on her Instagram, she spends a lot of time showing us, you know, the inspiration behind her palettes, the inspiration behind her blushes, and all of the products that she comes up with. So, you know, she did the same thing for this Mothership 9. So we all saw the inspiration pics, and those pics gave us, you know, molten liquid metal with multiple shades and multiple dimensions. We got rainbows, we got sunsets. So there were all of these kind of colors mixed up together in the inspiration pics. And when we all finally saw the release yesterday, it was Divine Rose 3. No, it's not a problem that it's Divine Rose 3. Like, you know, the Divine Rose line is beautiful. The shades are beautiful in the new palette, I'll say that. But we weren't expecting Divine Rose 3. You didn't advertise Divine Rose 3, and now you're giving us Divine Rose 3 and calling it Huetopian Dream. And even in the description, it says that it's a rainbow palette. And I'm like, Mama, this is more pink and a pop of purple. And I think somebody put it best when they said that this new palette is honestly a mix of Divine Rose 1, Divine Rose 2, and the purple from Midnight Sun. And I'm like, yeah, it 100% is. No, I want to distinguish this. I'm disappointed, but I'm not mad. Because at the end of the day, this is makeup. Like, I have no reason to sit here and be mad and bothered about the fact that Mother Pat released a palette that I didn't like. Because at the end of the day, she's not marketing to just me. She's marketing to an entire, or like, you know, the entire world. She wants people to buy her products. It's not like, oh, let me make sure the stands are happy. That is not her marketing technique. Next, I'm going to go in with Manganese, this purple shade here, and use that to deepen out the outer V. So I'm not mad that the palette isn't what I expected. You know, it happens. A lot of brands will release palettes or color stories that you aren't interested in, and it's fine. It is completely fine. Now, I will say that if you don't have any of Mother Pat's palettes and you were interested in some of her pink color stories, this might actually be a good one, because I do think that it pulls from so many of her palettes, not only just Divine Rose 1, Divine Rose 2, but Eternal Eden, Ritualistic Rose, Midnight Sun. I feel like it pulls from a ton of existing motherships and quads within her line. So, you know, if you are new to Pat McGrath, or if you are just getting into the brand and you don't have a ton of her palettes, this may actually be a good way for you to kind of get into the door. And I'm saying this having never tried the palette, having not really seen any real live swatches other than what's on her website, which, you know, there's lighting and all this other stuff that makes it look some kind of way. So there are all of those factors that comes into that. One thing I will say, and I expect this to be true, is that Pat McGrath's motherships tend to have very consistent quality in them. They look the same. They feel the same. You don't get any duds. You know, you don't have any issues with blending shadows or with the overall quality of the shadows. So if that remains true for this new mothership, then I think the issue here is not a quality issue, but a color story issue. And with that being said, if you aren't a stan and you aren't a collector of Mother Pat, this could actually be a really good introduction to her brand and to her motherships. But again, it's all for you to decide. At the end of the day, Pat McGrath is a luxury brand. Her eyeshadow is $125. $125. So if you are not feeling the color story, don't buy it. It's literally like as simple as that. And if you are a collector and you're still not feeling the color story, wait for a sale. We all know that Mother does at least, and I say this, at least 25 to 30% off sales a year. That will put your mothership well below $100. So if you don't want to spend the full $125, don't do it. Just wait for a sale. I know personally, I am not buying that at full price. Not at all, not today. Honestly, not ever. There's not a single mothership that I will actually repurchase or purchase at full price, knowing good and well that Mother has these sales at least 4 times a year. So wait for a sale. And given the reaction to this palette and to this color story, I truly think that this is going to be an eyeshadow palette that goes on sale very, very quickly. Because, you know, the people who really do consume Pat McGrath, her stans, are the ones that are really, really into her brand, her quality, her aesthetic, her luxury vibe. Those are the ones that are buying this palette. And if they don't like it and they're not going to buy it when it initially releases, it will go on sale in a heartbeat. So yeah, those are my kind of like initial thoughts and reactions on the new Pat McGrath Huetopian Dream. I know they're a little bit all over the place right now because I'm still honestly kind of digesting how I feel about it. I mean, I knew going into this that I wasn't going to buy it on launch day because I'm not a review channel. I don't review brand new products. So I knew I was always going to get it on sale. But I did actually stop to question, do I need to get this at all? Is this something I need in my collection, or do I already have it? And I can say, honestly, I probably already have it. Do I think that I still want to get it? Yes, because I'm a collector of makeup. So, and not even a collector of makeup. I take that back. I'm a collector of Pat McGrath. I enjoy Pat McGrath's products a lot. The quality of her products, her aesthetic, her packaging really well. So I've gotten to the point where I'm collecting her palettes. So, and the last thing I want to do is go in with this multi-chrome shade here. It's called Color Flip, and put that on the lid. I'm really liking how I have this kind of like purple crease and outer V going. So I'm just gonna pop this Color Flip shade in, which I'm not even sure how much, like, this looks like it's the most dimensional shade. Oh yeah, this is giving me some Sex Terrestrial vibes from Mothership 7, Divine Rose 2. So last thing I will say before I end this Pat McGrath discussion really is that, you know, I know that there are a lot of people who believe that we only have 2 eyelids, we shouldn't buy more makeup than we can consume, blah, 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 that whole thing. And to an extent, I agree. I don't think that we should be over consuming makeup because it's not an inexpensive hobby, and at the end of the day, there's only so much makeup we can wear. However, I don't think that we should be shaming people for being makeup collectors. Like, if collecting makeup is what you do, then do that. And everybody else mind your business. You know what I mean? For some people, just having makeup, having it to look at, having it to swatch. There are some people who like having makeup just to swatch it. They don't even care to put it on their eyelids. They just like being able to swatch it, which is fine. So if you are a makeup collector, or you are a Pat McGrath collector, and you know, want to get this palette, or you feel in some kind of way now because everybody has talked so much shit about this palette, and there is this kind of like rise in more minimalistic and less consumer driven like shopping and overconsumption of products. You don't have to fall into that. Do what makes you happy. At the end of the day, it's your money. Spend it however you want to spend it. I mean, don't go into debt trying to keep up with the Joneses, but don't feel like you have to feel ashamed of how much makeup you buy or consume. So those are just my thoughts on Mama Pat's new palette and the outrage that has come up as a result of, you know, a release that honestly didn't give what it was supposed to give. Okay, now I'm just gonna go in with a brush and use that to clean up the edges, and then we're gonna be done with this and start on the face. Okay, so eyes are pretty much done. I will come back to this. Quick thoughts on the Triochrome palette. I love how the mattes perform in this. They blend really easily and really quickly, which I appreciate. I think these are the type of mattes that you want when you just want to do a really quick look. While I enjoy blending and find it therapeutic, I don't want to sit forever blending out some matte eyeshadow. So I think that it went on really well, blended really easily, and I also appreciate the fact that we have these 3 multi-chrome shades that you can just pop onto the lid. So for a quick look, you honestly need just 1 shade in the crease, 1 to deepen out the outer V, and then pick one of these lids in the middle, and you're good to go. So definitely something I'm happy to have in my collection. I was a little bit iffy about it because it only has those 3 shimmers, but you know, so far so good. So for the face, I am going in with the new e.l.f. Putty Primer. This is the Acne Fighting version. Now, I do have the original Putty Primer, and I do like it. I find that the texture is really nice. I find that it does have that slight blurring effect. But I also have acne-prone skin. So if I can get the same effect as the original with some acne-fighting qualities, that's just perfection in my mind. So this is the original, and this is the acne fighting version. And this does have, I believe, some salicylic acid as well as zinc and other acne fighting ingredients in there. So here you have the primer on this half of my face. I think you can see a little bit of that blurring effect on my forehead. Not as much around my sort of T-zone area here where I have the largest pores essentially. And this is the side without the primer. It definitely feels exactly like the original, so far no complaints there. Now in terms of the acne fighting qualities, I don't know how I can speak to that. And that is because I do use other acne medication within my routine. So I don't know if this will necessarily have the largest effect, but I do think that it could potentially add to what I already use. For foundation, I'm going in with the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate in the shade number 10, Chestnut. Now, this foundation is $150. I have a hard time even just saying that because it's absolutely ridiculous that this foundation is $150. Now, y'all already know I did not pay $150 for this foundation. I don't think you should pay $150 for this foundation because I don't think any foundation is worth $150. I did pick this up at the cosmetics company store at 60% off, so I paid a little bit over $60. However, I also picked up another shade because they were doing a 6 for $60 sale a couple of weeks ago, or 1 or 2 weeks ago. And I was able to get another shade of this foundation for $10. So if you really want this foundation, 1, find a CCO near you, and 2, wait for the 6 for $60 sale because you'll get it for $10. Like, you will save $140 on this foundation. Now, like I said, this is in the shade number 10, Chestnut. I do think that this is honestly a hint too deep for me, so I'm gonna do a very light layer on my face. I do need to get it in shade 9.5, but they didn't have it in stock, so I went with what I could get. And this does have SPF 50 in it, so it does have a high percentage of sunscreen in it, and it does smell like that. You will smell the sunscreen on your skin. Do I think you should still use sunscreen? Absolutely, but you know, extra sunscreen never hurt nobody. So let's go in. Okay, so here you have the foundation blended on to this half of my face. This half has no foundation. As you can see, really nice coverage, blends in really nicely into the skin. It's definitely not, I would say, a matte finish right off the bat. You have to powder it down. But overall, I like it. I think that the shade is nice. I feel like you do get that initial gray cast, probably from the sunscreen upon initial application. But once you blend it into the skin, I think it works really, really well. So I'm just going to put more on this half of my face. Okay, so now we have the foundation fully blended onto the face. I'm gonna leave this like this for now before I powdered everything down, and that is because I also want to test out the new e.l.f. Putty bronzer, and this is in the shade Sunkissed. So here we have that. It's a deep, rich chocolate shade. Ooh, look at that. But it blends out really nicely, at least onto the hand. And like I said, I tried filming this before, so I did use this yesterday, and it did blend out really nicely, almost to the point where I was like, did I need a deeper shade for more pigment? So I'm gonna go in with the Pract foundation brush. This is the sister line to Sigma brushes. Yeah, and it's a little bit denser, so I think that it provides a really good application. So just dipping my brush directly into this. Have some of that product there. I'm going to start by stamping this onto the face and then blending it out. Now I'm just getting into cream products, so forgive me if this is looking a little crazy because I'm learning. Just gonna clean this up a little because I think I did too much. Okay, so this half of my face has the bronzer, this half does not. I like it. So I I do like how this bronzer blends out to the skin. I think that it looks a lot deeper than it actually is, which I appreciate. If you're not used to using cream bronzers or cream products, you don't want something that's going to be too hard to blend or too pigmented that it just becomes problematic. And this, I think, is a good way to get into cream bronzers if you don't use cream products like myself. So definitely approve. Again, this is the shade Sunkissed. This bronzer does come in 8 shades. This is shade number 6, I believe. So there are 2 deeper ones after this. So if you were interested in a cream bronzer, solid cream bronzer here. Okay, and I've somehow forgotten to do concealer, so I'm just gonna go in with my e.l.f. concealer and into my under eyes. This is not new. I have used this many times before. To set my under eyes, I'm going to use the Mcgrath under eye blurring powder in the shade Yellow. I do have it in the shade Deep as well, but because this foundation is a little bit deeper than I want it to be, it does kind of darken things up. So I'm using Yellow to add a little bit more brightness, especially to my under eye area. To set my entire face, I'm gonna go in with another new to me product, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in the shade number 4 Deep. So this is the component, and this is the setting powder in the shade Deep, which, if I'm being honest, doesn't look very deep. Just gonna use that to set my entire face. Ooh, she's pretty. Okay. Now, because I do like a really good bronzed look, I am gonna go over that e.l.f. Cream Putty Primer with the Huda Beauty Glowish Primer, and this is in the shade number 5 Rich. And very lightly. I don't want to look burnt. Okay, so now back to the eyes, and I'm going back into the Triochrome palette, and I'm just going to take the 2 mattes that I used to create this look to begin with, so Tungsten and Manganese, and use that on my waterline. Okay, so I went back in with Tungsten Manganese on the lower lid, and then to spice things up a little bit, I went in with a little bit of Kinetic, which is the multi-chrome shade, and put that in the very inner half of the eye. For blush, I'm going in with the new NARS Basic Instincts Cheek Quad. This is quad number 2. And I think I'm just gonna mix these 2 blush shades. So the NARS Cheek Quad, I will say this is a new cheek quad, but all of the shades in here already exist. The 2 shades that I used, I believe, was Torrid and Savage. So this pink and then this deeper, almost bronze shade. I will say that the pink has a very, very light application, and I have to build it up a lot for it to show up on me. This one here is a shimmer bronze blush, so if you don't like a shimmer blush, you mightn't like this one, but I found that this one has a lot of pigment. Like, you just slightly dip into it and bam, it's on your face. I wore this yesterday. I did really enjoy mixing both of these together for this kind of like blushed effect with a little bit of shimmer in there, so I like it, and I think that this is an amazing quad for deeper skin tones. Like I said, this is quad number 2. It does have a quad number 1, which has some of their lighter blushes. So if you are of a lighter complexion, you might prefer those, because these are a little bit in your face, pigmented, and just perfect for a nice medium deep complexion. Okay, so those were all of the new products that I wanted to try. I'm gonna go finish up my face and be right back to finish off this video. Okay guys, I'm back, and this is the final look created with all of the new, well, new to me products, essentially. So, quick thoughts. For the lips, I am wearing my Morphe Toasty lip liner with the Christian Audette lip. This is in the shade Noelle. This is from the Glam Girl Chelsea collab. And then I topped it off with my Pat McGrath lip gloss in the shade Bronze Temptation. So this is what I'm wearing on the lip. I also went in with my Pat McGrath highlighter in Divine Rose for the highlight on my face and for my inner corner highlight. So let's just quickly recap. The Natasha Denona Triochrome palette. This is a beautiful palette. It's a stunning palette. I agree, the multi-chromes in here are, you know, kind of weak compared to some of the other multi-chromes on the market, but the mattes are what steal this show. Now, some of these I did think would be a little bit dusty, a little bit ashy on me, but I do think that they have more depth than you would honestly initially imagine. So this is a definite plus for me. I definitely approve. Very, very happy about this one. The e.l.f. Acne Fighting Primer. Now, again, I don't know if I will actually see any sort of results from this because I have other acne medications within my routine, but I will say that this performs exactly like the original primer. So no complaints there because I actually do enjoy the original primer. As for the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Sunkissed, this, I still have to form an opinion on this. I'm not sure how to use cream products, if I'm being very honest. But what I will say is that it was pretty simple to use. I was able to blend it out really easily. I didn't get too much pigment, and I could build it up if I really wanted to. So for someone that doesn't know how to use cream products, I do like this so far. And I think this is $6, so not super expensive. So it's a good product for me to play with and, you know, make mistakes with. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush setting powder, face setting powder. Wow. I don't know what I expected, but damn, like, it really, really surprised me and blew me out of the water. I had no idea what to expect, but when I used it to set my face, I felt like it just pulled everything together. It was really nice and blurring and did create that flawless finish. So I'm very happy with this one. I'm looking forward to trying this with the Flawless foundation because I love that foundation, and I could only imagine what those two are gonna look like together. The NARS Cheek Blush Quad. Also pleasantly surprised with this one. Now, this is an Ulta exclusive. It retails for $39, but you do get 4 blush shades and a pretty significant amount of product at that. And I do think that this is perfect for deeper complexions. I do have another blush palette that I honestly think sucks because it doesn't have a ton of pigment. This one is not that. This does have the pigment that you're looking for. And I will show you guys a couple of swatches, and I will say that when I did swatch them, they felt real chalky, but on the face, I think it looks beautiful. So just something to think about. You know, swatches won't always give you like the full picture. And lastly, the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate foundation, the $150 foundation. Is this a beautiful foundation? Absolutely. Is this severely overpriced? 100,000%. I do love how this foundation wears because, like I said, I did this look yesterday. So I've worn it for like a full day, and I love how it wears. I will give it that. I also love how it blends into the skin. It's lightweight. It has SPF 50 in it. So it has all of these really great qualities in it, but it's $150. And to be quite frank, you could put on some SPF before you put on foundation. So you don't need to buy a foundation of this price to get the effects of this. And you can also get a really nice flawless foundation for significantly cheaper. However, I fully believe that everybody should have the chance to experience luxury. I've said that multiple times. So however, if you are interested in this foundation, please check out your cosmetics company store. Whether they're having the 60% off Tom Ford, where you will get this for about $60, you can do that, or you can wait for another 6 for $60 sale where you can get this for $10. So up to you. I'm just saying, don't pay full price for this. It's not worth it. So I hope you guys liked today's look. I hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, please make sure to give this a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below letting me know which product was your fave. Also, leave a comment down below letting me know how you feel about the new Pat McGrath Mothership 9 Huetopian Dream. And make sure you like, please subscribe if you want to see more content from me. And as always, I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.